Now, today's topic was covered in my very large 1 hour new player guide to FGO, but I understand not everybody wants to watch a 1 hour video, and that is apparent because I have been seeing some conversations in my Discord and in some of my YouTube comments, which, there you go. If you'd ever think that I'm not reading the YouTube comments, this video is proof of that. But it is about the mana prisms and a lot of newer players coming into the game stressing about the Da Vinci shop and making sure that they are optimally going after things or asking, what should I be going after? Is there something, is this good? Is this bad? What do I need to be doing? I want to spend my mana prisms as optimally as possible, especially the rare ones because, well, as the name implies, they're a little bit more rare unless you're a whale. And so I thought I'd make a shorter video. That way, if you are a new player, especially with anniversary and summer right around the corner, that's when a lot of new players start coming into the game. If you don't have the time or you just don't want to watch a 1 hour video, you can watch this video breaking down the Da Vinci shop. And this really breaks down into three main areas: your mana prisms, your pure prisms, and your rare mana prisms. Now, the pure prisms, we're just going to get this one out of the way because this is the simplest one. Basically, you just use this to get materials that you need for your characters. As a new player, I would just save this until you get a character that is requiring materials from a story chapter that you're not going to get to for a while. Say, for instance, a Lost Belt 6 or 7 character that have some tougher bosses that you might not be able to beat the story right away because, unless you beat all the bosses, you don't unlock the free quest to farm the mats at your leisure. Maybe use it on them. Or if you come into a very powerful support character, Koyan Light, Scotty Ruler, OG Scotty, Castoria, Merlin, even Oberon, any of these characters that you just need to get skill leveled up quick, fast, and in a hurry because supports make this game and they can allow you to make do with lower skill levels. If you've got your 2 Castorias leveled up, then you might be able to use your Summer Ibuki at like skill level 4 or 5 until you can actually build her up to skill level 10. That's what I would prioritize this for. But as a new player, you have the new player missions, you're getting materials just from beating the story quests, enemies are dropping things, you're doing some of those early free quests as well, you're still getting things like that. So I wouldn't stress too much about it. And if you are stressing about the fact that, well, each one of these materials is limited to only being able to get 100 of each, it is going to be a little bit before we get this, but there will be an update that allows you to refresh these. So for me, for example, I've gone through my, well, I'm still really low on dust, but I'm really low on these. And as you can see, there's no real way for me to get these back or anything. There's no refresh for the shop. There will eventually be this little card thing you're able to get that allows you to refresh the shop. And then I could theoretically buy another 100 Voids Dust, which I am in dire need of. But let's move into the important ones, the ones that people really have questions about. Starting with the mana prisms, the first thing, I guess that's a kind of a main thing, ignoring the special stuff that we have going on for the 23 million download campaign, this is kind of your monthly reset right here. You'll get, these code openers, you'll get EXP cards, you'll get summoning tickets, and then you'll get the 4-star or 3-star faux pas, my bad. But these are all really good to get every single month. If you need a priority list, obviously it's going to be getting your summoning tickets every month, and it's going to be getting your foes over here because these are a limited resource. Unlike EXP cards, even though these are still really nice to get because 5-star EXP cards can really just help you power level your characters, and so can the 4-star EXP cards, these are farmable technically, right? You can always go farm dailies. You might not want to, but you can get them at any time. If you are more limited on your mana prisms, getting these can be very helpful because even myself, someone that has been playing this game for like 8-7 years at this point, not all of my characters are fully base foed up, right? Because you can give them 1,000 HP for the HP foes and 1,000 attack for the attack foes over here. I don't have all of my characters done. Now, all the main ones, all of the guys that matter are done, but still going through and doing some of the side characters, I'd still like to get them done for completion's sake, and I still don't have them all done. So just making sure you can have these available, even if you don't have any characters that you really want to invest a little bit in, it will be nice for when you do have those characters, having these now as opposed to when summer is going to be going on and you're like, I don't have enough of these foes to level up their attack or their HP. It'll just be really nice to have. And then go figure, in the gambling game, having some free currency is always going to be good. So make sure you're getting those. But the EXP cards are also not bad to get. But with the basics, I guess we could just talk about these. The code openers are also good, but as a new player, if you can get them, they're only 100 mana prisms. They're nice to have, but you can see that I've got 36 stockpiled up because once you kind of have your core characters done, and once you've done, the command codes on them, you're not really stressing about like, oh my goodness, do I give Salieri his command codes? Oh my goodness, you don't need to stress about that. Once you have them, you'll kind of have a decent stockpile of them, and you can kind of just ignore them. But the thing that really comes in are the DaVinci Shop CEs. Now, I have been slacking on this because usually whenever we get these new craft essences, I do like to make a YouTube short just going over really quickly, oh, is this worth going for or not? Because I don't think it needs its own like 4 to 8 minute video talking about, oh, is the 5 friend points going to be the most game-breakingly thing of all time? Yeah, I don't need to do that. So I've been slacking, admittedly, but we do get these every now and then, right? We get these new CEs added, and I see a lot of new players asking, is this worth going for? And most of the time, for the foreseeable future, maybe until the end of the year, most of these are just going to be nice little collector's things. If you can get them, by all means, go ahead and grab them, but it's not going to make or break your account if you don't have these. That will change whenever, I believe it is New Year's, when we get the Koyenskaya one. That is when we start to get specific bond CEs, right? They give you 20% if characters in your party meet a certain criteria, and they're quite strong. They start a little gimmicky with Koyenskaya as being your animal characteristic servants, and we get a Gordolf one that is all of your lawful good characters. But then they start to get really good, like the DaVinci one that's just 20% bond for all of your casters. There's a Nemo one, 20% for all of your riders. Like, they start to get really good. In fact, there was a new one that got added that I think I did also forget to cover, but that one's also really nutty. But these ones, you can kind of get them whenever you want, right? Like, they're fine, but where it really starts to get important is when you start to look at your rare mana prisms, because your rare mana prisms, sure, it also has a monthly resetting shop. You know, you can get like a lore and some of the 4-star stuff, but unless you're like a whale or something, you don't really need to be going after these. I mean, even myself, you know, I'm kind of hurting for lores over here. These weren't my priority up until a little bit ago, when now I've kind of collected everything in the shop. Now, you'll notice there's a lot of stuff in here. There's a whole bunch of minutia. Both of these CEs, I would say, are good, but they're probably not going to be your priority list, depending on how many mana prisms you have. The things that you really want to be headhunting for, it's going to be a little bit of a scroll, but they are DaVinci Shop CEs that were around a way long ago. Like, we're talking year 1 and 2 for the game, so you probably weren't playing the game at that time if you're watching this video right now. But you'll see, like right here as an example, you can unlock some of these old CEs by only paying 1 rare mana prism. It is still going to cost you the normal 5,000 to get all 5 copies, but it gives you access to some supremely powerful CEs that I would say, well, again, not going to be game-breaking for your account, but they will be very nice. The main ones, I mean, well, we'll talk about Detective Foe later, but the main ones are going to be the OG ones down here. Things like your Chaldea Lunchtime, right? I guess I could actually just show off the effects if I go to my Craft Essence list over here. Sorry, I'm getting caught off guard a little bit here, but you can see some of these OG ones that are really strong, like the Chaldea Lunchtime. It just gives you 10% bond for all of your characters for free, right? And that might not sound like a big deal, but consider the amount of nodes you're going to be running, how much you're going to be playing this game, especially when lottos and stuff start coming around, or you're just free quest farming. And I mean, this is something that I will shamelessly do, that before I get, you know, all my lotto CEs and stuff, I get all my max drop set up, I might just throw a lunchtime in my backup, because I'm going to be farming it a lot until I get my drops, depending on how lucky I am. And that's extra bond, right? Because, you know, now that we have like 90 pluses and plus pluses, the bond yield on those is really strong. And not even outside of events, but you have the Bleached Earth missions that give you a ton of bond, more so than kind of like your normal free quests. And so just being able to maximize what you're able to get on those can be really strong. Now, a lot of players will tell you to then go after, you know, after that one, it's like, oh, we got to go for Chaldea Tea Time. This, I kind of disagree with, because it's 15% for your support. It's good for boosting up friend points, but it's not going to do a lot for you in the interim, right? It's only going to give you 5%. I would say, as a new player, be a little bit selfish. Go after some of the CEs that are going to help you out. Things like the Chaldea Lunchtime and the original Mona Lisa that gives you 10% QP on your runs. This makes your daily runs a lot easier. It makes your daily runs on the Bleached Earth Las Vegas mission that gives you pretty much the same thing for dailies, but just more bond. It makes that a lot easier. The only difference on this one is that QP farming is so annoying that it might actually be worth it also just grab Bella Lisa, because any little incremental buff you can give yourself is going to be nice. So 5%, it's like, I run this in my QP farming team, because it's just any little extra bit of QP that you're able to get is going to be nice. But before you do this one, I would tell you to go after something like Detective Foe, because that's 5% bond and 5% QP. So you're getting the bonus of both of these right here, but you get to be a little bit more selfish. But then you can see that I have a couple of others of just these random ones, right? Like we have dinner time. It's like 5% bond, 5% master EXP. Am I running this and all of my bond teams? Probably not. Like maybe if I can fit it in there with the team cost, but it's not mission critical to get some of these other ones. Or, you know, like this Da Vinci one, Grand Cavalier over here, where you're getting 5% bonded, 5% Mystic Code EXP. Sure, Mystic Code EXP is fine, but things like new plug suit or God forbid the part 2, you know, base black Mystic Code that we have, that thing requires like millions of EXP, so much so that I'm not even worried about leveling it. I'll level it whenever I get it leveled. You know, some of these are nice to have, and they can contribute to some of your Bond and QP teams, but the ones you want to prioritize are some of these OG ones, because these are going to give you just a nice fat 10% buff off rip. The ones that I would say that unless you just really love these characters, you can just avoid these ones. These I've only grabbed for collector's reasons. I haven't maximum broken my idol maker, but some of these are just ones that you grab just because they're kind of nice, right? Like if you like MASH, maybe personal training will be just a nice cute CE for you to get, but it's only 10% master EXP. And there is a certain threshold for master EXP where it just doesn't really do anything for you. You know, eventually you're going to hit the cap for team cost, and leveling up past that really just isn't going to matter. But hey, maybe you just really like Olga Marie. That's why I picked up Personal Lesson myself. But do I ever use it? Not really. Again, like I said, you're not really trying to power level your Mystic codes, you know, unless you're just an absolute crazy person. You know, you're a whale and you're using rainbow apples to try to get through lottos and stuff. At that point, it's not like really that crazy. And then you have like your friend point ones where, like, I guess if you really care about having just millions and billions of you know, friend points available to you, I guess you could do that. But I'll tell you right now, I'm sitting on like 6 million friend points because I just use them to get whatever the new event like 3-star CE is to make my life a little bit easier when it comes to farming. And that's really about it. And, you know, some people in the comments might be like, but what about the new 4-stars that are coming? And not to spoil too much, but we're getting a new friend point character in Lost, or not Lost Belt, Ordeal Call 3, whenever that comes out in like a year from now. But they give them specific banners so they're easier to pull, right? If you just wait a little bit from when they're initially like released or whatever, they'll have a specific banner that makes them easier to pull. And then whenever we get like the every character rate up that we had at the beginning of this year, they also do that for them for the friend point gotcha. Like they did that for Saber Lily, you know, they'll do that for those characters. I'm trying not to spoil things for people that want to remain unspoiled, but whenever those guys come out, you know, they'll have their own banners as well for well, I don't even want to say their class because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But yeah, like that's just the basics for the Da Vinci shop. It's really not that complicated. Like it's super simple on what to prioritize. There are some nice things, again, in the rare Prism shop that you can go scoop up. Like I said, things like the Sweet Crystal or Fondue au Chocolat can be very good CEs for you, right? Just having free power mod against divinity enemies is very, very nice. And then this is just a built-in Pierce Invincibility CE that when maximum broken gives you 50% gauge. If you're asking why I don't have these, I already got them, right? I was playing I'm a fossil, all right? I've been playing this game for a long time, so I don't need to buy them again. But these are not bad to have. And then there's just things in here that you see that I've like picked up, like doing the trial quests and stuff. But some of these you can see they're slash through, so you can just kind of do them whenever you want. So there's not a whole lot of stress. Some of them are just old portraits for, like, say, White Day over here, where if you want to pick up a White Day CE, it's not going to be game-breakingly broken for your account, but if you want to get it, by all means, you can. But a lot of the things in here are just nice to have. The ones that you want to prioritize are going to be those OG CEs that are really going to help you out. Like, things like this, it's just nice. It's a nice little collecting thing to have on your account. But realistically for me, I toss it in my second archive because you're going to run out of space for craft essences, especially if you start getting into like leveling them up and stuff. You're probably going to toss those in your second archive to just keep them as a little memorial, just a nice little art that you have, because they're usually not that crazy. It's like, oh, 10 friend points whenever you clear a quest. It's like, oh, whoop-de-doo. Once you start acquiring a decent amount of friend points, you'll be fine. So I think that's really it as far as like the Da Vinci shop is concerned. It's really not all that complicated. I mean, you can avoid grabbing people like Altera and BB because of the this shop over here, the evocation leaflets that we have. They'll be added. Treat me like I'm a new player. Treat me like I don't know what evocation leaflets are, but they will be added into this eventually. And the unfortunate thing is that, at least on JP, I did not get a refund for my rare mana prisms whenever the BB free to play did come out for this. I don't know if I just missed them, but we did it on stream and nobody else saw me get refunded for the rare prisms either. So I don't think you get refunded for those. So you can avoid getting them. It does kind of suck because BB is a really strong free to play character, but at this point, it's only like, what, maybe a year away tops. So you just wait for that and you can just pick her up for free. And again, for like these things, you can get these from like farming events whenever they start adding those into event shops. But this is not the leaflet video. This is the mana prisms video. So again, I hope this was informative to some players, just for the few people that are kind of coming into the game that might find this helpful, again, just making this video to be helpful. It's not a game-breakingly broken video, but just, again, if I was a new player and I was trying to prioritize things and I wanted to know what is the most optimal thing to get and like what are things that I should be prioritizing as a new player, I would want somebody with more experience to be telling me what I should be going after. So, as per usual, if you enjoyed the video, found it informative or entertaining. I don't really think I was trying to be too entertaining in this video, but if you did, a like on the video and a subscribe to the channel would make my day, as it's absolutely free and it supports the channel. And if you want to go that extra mile, we do have the Patreon down in the description down below. It gives you access to a super secret chat in the Discord where we get to vote on the videos that come out on Fridays. And as you guys can hear, I'm back to my normal setup, so that means that streams are going to be going as per usual every weekday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, going to be FGO here and on that Twitch, which is linked down in the description down below. Tuesday, Thursdays, probably going to be stuff like Star Rail and Woo maybe Nikkei. I keep joking about Nikkei, but eventually I'll probably play it on stream, maybe one day, but probably got to get back on the Star Rail grind. I got really lazy on that as I was traveling around because I was like, I'll just get back to it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I don't want the new Artoria to eat my lunch because I need to get her, got to get her light cone, got to get Emiya's light cone, and it's going to be a whole ordeal. But with all that being said, I'll stop yapping, go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.